eligible to claim thousands in compensation. If you've had any cars, vans or motorbikes on finance between 2007 and 2021, well, just click the link below and start your simple free check.
Hi everyone and welcome to another AFTV Live. I am your host Laurie and I'm joined today by two very special and esteemed guests. First up we've got Stricto in the building. Give yourself a big digital round of applause, Stricto. Also, we've got my boy Qualms with the big arms.
Yes, people, we're here, we're live and direct.
Rumor has it that you've just come out the gym. Is that right, Qualms?
No, I had to fight through the Spurs fans, bro. They've knocked off the whole of North London, Edmonton, bro. I couldn't even get a trim today because of these man. So they're forever giving me hell. But yeah, I managed to get a gym session in. But yeah, I had to quickly go through that traffic.
Arms day or legs day? Probably arms.
It was legs day, but then obviously when I came into alteration with the Spurs fans, it was arms day. It was arms day, bro.
You're right, man.
Trust me.
Stricto, quick question for you. The people want to know: are you renewing your season ticket, or is it going to go flying over the Emirates?
You know what?
It's holding on to that.
Them tickets are no longer physical anymore. They're on the phone, so I'm not dashing my phone. So
yeah, keep that phone tight, man. Okay, let's get to it, man. Let's get to it. So, everybody out there, man, you've seen the title of this particular show, and literally, as I'm talking to you now, as we're recording this show now, and my boy Qualms alluded to it, just up the road from me. In North London, Spurs are having their open top bus parade. It should finish soon, actually, starting at 5:30.
Yeah,
all the surrounding roads around there are blocked off. They started in Edmonton and they moved up to their ground in Scotland. I heard they were expecting between 150 and 170,000 people, which is a lot of people, man. And in case anybody's been living under a rock, the reason why they're having an open top bus parade is that on Wednesday, Tottenham beat Man United in the final of the Europa League to win their first trophy in 17 years, their first European trophy in over 40 years. So great for them if you're a Spurs fan. But what if you're an Arsenal fan? How does that make you feel? What does that mean to you? So let's start with my boy Stricto. Stricto, I mean, I've got to say it, bro. It was a terrible final. It was a terrible watch. Quality was really poor. But having said that, Spurs winning, man, that did not give me a good feeling. I've got to admit. I've got to admit, in Jamaica they say you're bad mind. I was bad minded. You know what I mean? Now there's a school of thought to say that some people are not that bothered. Because it's like, yeah, Tottenham, they won, so what? It's only the Europa League, blah, blah, blah. But for me, I didn't want to see them win nothing. But Stricto, how did you feel about it?
honestly, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. I know Qualms was saying that, you know, he's probably around North London, Qualms, yeah?
No, bro, I'm in East, but I usually get a trim in North.
Okay,
so
you're around that area, innit? So
yeah. I was bumping into them.
I said this yesterday on Dan Potts' show yesterday. I said, look, I'm from South London, yeah? I grew up around Man United fans. Yeah? And whenever Arsenal lose, my phone is always ringing. And guess who's calling? Man United fans. I'm saying, like outside of this whole content creating world, I don't know any Tottenham fan. So
that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
I don't care about Tottenham. Like, I know historically my club has, you know, they are meant to be our rivals. But for me, in my own personal, everyday sort of like interactions with football fans, is mainly United fans. I grew up in the era of Sir Alex Ferguson, Howard Webb, and all those guys from Man United. And we had Wenger, Vieira, and no FA help. So my enemy, my natural enemy is always Man United. But I get it, the club's natural enemy is Tottenham. But I don't really see how I do with Man United. So for me, I'm looking at it as I'm laughing at Man United more than I'm feeling any way about Arsenal. Do you understand? Because at the end of the day, both clubs only qualified for the Europa League because of their woeful position in the league the season before. So if there was anyone that's gonna get bantered, anyone I should pull away, is Man United fans. It's not Arsenal fans, bro. We unfortunately had to play a PSG side that had Doué, Dembele, and Donnarumma, who was crazy. United only had to face Vicario.
Vicario on them, man. Yeah.
It's not the same competition. Like it can't move me. It's not the same competition. Yes, they get a free ride into the Champions League, but let's be honest. Their season, 21 defeats in one season. You can't tell me they've had a good season. Yes, I know trophies is the barometer of a season, but also trophies can paper over the crack. We've seen it with when what's his name? Eric Ten Hag won it with United. What happened next? The following season, he got sacked. So let's not look at it like sometimes trophies are the markers of a success. They can be, but there's also another side to it. They can also cover up the cracks. So I don't really feel a way that Tottenham have won a trophy. I really don't. If Man United have won it, then maybe I'd have been getting the 99 missed calls that I got the other day from them, man.
So what about the fact that we haven't won a trophy this season? And it's been, let's be honest, we can all admit this. Our season has had a few highlights, notably the Champions League wins, especially the Real Madrid putting them out. We had a couple of good wins in Premier League, the 5-1 stuff in the City, things like that. But let's be honest, man, we've not come close to winning a trophy. So, it's been disappointing in that regard. And then to see them, man, from down the road who haven't won a trophy for 17 years, rock up and win the Europa League, it must have felt away. What about, let's ask my boy Quams. You must have felt away seeing them, man, with a trophy.
Yeah. I mean, I get what Stricto is saying. I guess because I'm closer to North, and obviously I know a lot of Tottenham fans. So it's not even like they were messaging me because to be honest, as you said, like the quality of the final was poor. Like let's be real. Spurs fans can't come out and say like they earned it or they played good football. It was just one of those things where by chance 2 English teams that have been doing really poor in the Premier League managed to get into a final. And on the night when I watched it, of course I was a bit like, man, like these are going to be getting on to us. But then when I actually took a step back and I thought about it, I said, look, at the end of the day, where would I rather be as a whole, as a club? I think it would have hurt more if maybe we was in the Europa League ourselves and we got knocked out of it and then Spurs went on to win it. But, we've got bigger, as Robbie would say, bigger fish to fry. We're trying to compete at the highest level. And I guess with the Europa League, it's kind of fallen or, it's not at the same caliber as maybe it once was. But at the end of the day, Spurs they managed to do something. They managed to get a trophy. And at the end of the day, that is how success is measured nowadays. It's a shame because obviously like the real football fans, the ones with their head screwed on, they can look at it and say, you know what, Arteta's done well with the injuries that he's had this season. We've had to play with some key men out of the season for the majority of it. But other managers have had to do it. Ange had to do it without Kulusevski and Maddison, and they managed to still lift a trophy. But yeah, no, it's not. It's funny because it doesn't sting as I thought it would. But I guess it's just like your little brother beating you in a race. You know what I mean? Like just one of those off chances. But when it comes to the real deal, like in the Premier League or the Champions League, that's where I feel like we have to flourish now. We have to. If anything, this is just a little slap in the face or a little reminder to the board as well as the team and the whole club that the boys down the road, they've got something now. We need to come back stronger next season so we can eradicate this whole parade that they're doing right now.
Yeah, Stricto, that is a very good point. Do you not think that the fact that Tottenham, and let's face it, you said it yourself, they've been poor all season, 21 losses, finishing 16th, 17th, wherever it is.
Yeah.
Right. So they've won a trophy and we haven't. Do you think that puts more pressure on Arsenal, in particular Mikel Arteta, for next season?
No, I don't think that should put pressure. I think the pressure should always be there. That's how it should be. It shouldn't be because our local rivals are winning trophies and then all of a sudden we need to start winning. No, we should be winning. We should have that pressure every season, every time. We are supposed.
No, but what I'm saying is, do you not think it's more pressure for next season, given that Tottenham have won a trophy? And like you said,
Rory, the pressure should always be there. It doesn't matter whether
we're a big club. We're a very big club.
Always be there. And I keep harping on the fact that we as fans, we as match-going fans that spend thousands and thousands of pounds in fact, it's more pressure on us. Do you know what I'm saying? We're the one putting in and not getting nothing. So
It's
yeah,
true.
the pressure should always be there. It shouldn't be because Tottenham have won something or Chelsea have won something or whatever club. We should be always keeping the standard to please, to satisfy the fans worldwide. We've gone five seasons without a trophy. Well and truly, you can say 8 because we didn't really get to see the COVID one for the obvious reasons. So yeah, that the pressure should always be at the start of the season. Players, managers, board, their pressure is to deliver for the fans. That's what it should be. So as far as I'm concerned, next season shouldn't be different to any other season. However, I do take in what you're saying in terms of it is going to be a bit different because for the manager in particular, because the manager now has to deliver. Now we're going into a transfer market where we have to now go all guns blazing. You know, the board has to produce off the pitch, and then the manager and the players have to produce on the pitch. You know, because I think as fans, we have supported loud and clear. The atmosphere at the Emirates has never been like this. So the fans are behind it, but we need to see results now. Do you know what I'm saying? We need to see results. You know, I'm an avid Arteta supporter, but if it gets to the stage where we're not getting anything but the good vibes, then you have to ask the question, like,
when do you ask that question?
Well, the question could start. Depends how the season's going. Let's be honest. Like,
everyone keeps saying it's like. Sorry to cut you, Stricto. Everyone keeps saying that it's like towards the end of the year, like Christmas time. If we're not sitting top of the league or second, and we're still not, and we're in the competition still, that's fine. But if we're not, we should be maybe like putting extra pressure on Arteta. You know, do you think that that's something that we should be looking at in terms of a timeline or time frame for him?
Yeah, there's got to be a time frame, and the time frame is only dependent on how well the team is doing. Like you said, if we're looking at the table, like listen, the way it's gone in recent seasons, like you could be second or third, just be a point away. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's got to be like contextualized, isn't it? Like if we're close, then you know what I'm saying, you give it at the end of the season. But if you're far off, like how Man United have been all season, then the question's got to be asked. But then we're also in other competitions as well. So I want to see him take other competitions serious. But ideally, what I do want is the big ones. You know, the ones that we haven't seen in a while, like the Champions League we've never seen, or the Premier League we haven't seen in 20 plus years. So those ones are the ones I ideally judge him on. But if he can deliver the first trophy of the season, which is the League Cup, and we're in a good place, then I mean, what can you say? Do you know what I'm saying? You got to back it.
I'm going to take issue with that a little bit, strictly. A lot of what you said makes sense there, but listen, I think pretty much everyone agree. Even the most diehard partisan, biased Tottenham fan will admit that Arsenal are or have been a lot better than them in recent years. So what I'm going to say is this: so like, how comes Tottenham, right? My man Ange rocked up at Tottenham. He finished fifth in his first year. And then this season, he was getting a lot of criticism. They were losing games. I mean, they were playing that high line. And he was getting it. He was proper getting it. And then one of his responses was, well, I always win a trophy in my second season. Right? And a lot of people laughed at him. Let's be honest. We probably all did as well. And he got called all kind of names, and I thought the British press was really disrespectful to him, to be honest.
Yeah, they were.
Now the man has delivered a trophy, and he said, "Look, see, I told you." You know what I mean? Mikel Arteta, I know he won a trophy in his first season, right? But it's been a long time now, Stricto. So a lot of the fans are saying, "Yo, man, it's not good enough." And especially when you look down the road, as I've done. And I'm seeing Tottenham fans out in the streets, dancing, singing, waving flags. I've got to be honest with you, man. It's not a good look, Stricto. It's not.
It's not.
We shouldn't judge our success based on what them lot are doing. 17 years. How many managers? They've moved. Like a lot has happened for Tottenham to sniff the glory that they sniffed the other day. A lot has happened. Even the fans were saying before the game, well, even if he does win it, we should sack him. They'll probably be feeling different now. You know, but that's how bad he's been. That's how bad he's been, and that's why I said there's two sides to their success, which is A, they've won a trophy, the fans can have their celebration, but B, it's papering over the crack. Yes, they've had injuries, but a club like Tottenham, their fans will tell you, should not be sitting where they are at the table. And it's not, let's be honest, it's not luck. You play and earn your position, and they haven't earned their position in the Premier League.
All right, done that. So when you was with me at the Liverpool game, right?
Yeah.
And we was in the same end, and you got Liverpool fans, second again. As a football fan, you start to feel like every ground we go to, and you go to all the away games, Stricter, so you know this even more than me. Every time we play a team in the Premiership, that's what we're going to get. Second again, ole. And it is kind of embarrassing, really. I know Ty gets really upset about it, but it is kind of embarrassing. And then you see Tottenham, of all clubs, your local rivals, a team that you've tended to look down on in the last X amount of years, and they're running around parading a trophy. I'm sorry. For me, that's not a good look.
I don't think it's just, I think, yeah, of course we can keep going on about Spurs, and it is like a thing where we got to raise our eyebrows a little bit. But I think also with Newcastle winning a cup, Crystal Palace winning a cup, do you know what I mean? It's one of those things. Aston Villa doing well in the Champions League. It's kind of like, and for me, outside of being an Arsenal fan, obviously I'm a football fan. It's good for the Premier League. It's good for the footballing world because it gives a chance for the other teams. But then it's also, look how long it's taken us to get to this position, but then look how long it's taken the other teams. They're doing it in less time, and they're achieving something along the way. If we had won the Europa League along the way whilst Arteta was there, or or Carabao Cup, I don't think there would be as much pressure. I think it's not us, the fans. We've been patient, as Stricter said. We've been very patient, and we've been quite understanding. But the pressure is been put on tenfold now because there's other surrounding teams that are in lower positions that are actually winning something. So there's no more excuses. And that's what I was saying. I said, Arteta hasn't got nowhere else to go now. The board has nowhere else to go because they must be looking at all these other teams and they're saying, right, what's their net spend? How much have they spent? What are the players they've invested in? They still managed to get the job done. But instead, it's like we're waiting, even with like the whole striker situation with Gyökeres and Sesko. Apparently, Berta sitting on the fence, Arteta sitting on the fence. You've got Rodrigo there that's hovering around. Martinelli, we don't know if we want to keep or sell. We need to be ruthless. That is the problem, I think. And that is the reason why we're in this position, because we're not ruthless enough. And, you listen to Turkish and Dan Potts because they said it from January, even Lee Judges. From January, because the board didn't back Arteta, that's why we're in this mess. As much as we can say, well done to Arteta for getting second, it's put more pressure on him. And even Arteta himself, he's probably looking at it and he's like, even my man Glazier or whatever from Crystal Palace is winning something. Eddie Howe is winning something. And they're calling him a clown, but he's lifting a trophy. So yeah, it's a thing where I think he is going to be under a lot of pressure if he doesn't deliver something, and it can't be. I wouldn't be happy with a Carabao Cup, Stricter. I wouldn't be happy with that. It has to be an FA Cup, it has to be a Champions League, or it has to be definitely the Premier League.
So Stricter, let me come back to you because obviously you live in South London, right? And I'm sure you've got mates that support or follow Palace. You must have felt a tinge of envy last Saturday when you watched that final. By the way, that was a great final.
Better final than this week.
Well done to Palace.
Yeah, shout out Palace.
Really good game. Palace did really well. They won that. Great day. You must have looked at that, having been to cup finals yourself with Arsenal in recent years. And you think to yourself, that is what supporting a club is all about. Big days out. The fans get involved. My team wins. We've not seen that now since 2020. You must be looking at that, Stricter, as an Arsenal fan and think, man, when are we going to experience that again? Surely.
I mean, if I'm being honest with you, I grew up in Palace. That's my local club, SC25. A lot of my boys have played for Crystal Palace. Big up Sean, big up Wayne. So for me, there wasn't a sense of envy, but also a sense of pride. I felt like, what? This is my, like, I was happy. I was actually in the area at the time. I was happy. So for me, it's always been if Arsenal don't win something, I want Palace to do something because, like I said, that's an area I grew up in. I went to Sellers High School for boys, which is what the stadium's named. You know what I'm saying? I'm in that area, so I didn't feel envy that this is Arsenal. I mean, that was something we've done. Do you know what I'm saying? So honestly, I think we've got to look at it in context, and like Kwame touched on, like I don't want us to win FA Cup. I mean, don't, let me take that back. I don't want us to win Carabao Cups. I want it to be, if we can win all of it, great. If we can win a Carabao Cup and another something, even better. Do you know what I'm saying? But ultimately, all I want is the big boy ones. That's what I'm sitting on. That's what I've waited for. I can't give Arteta all this patience and all this time, and then all you deliver is a Carabao Cup. I'm sorry, that's not good enough. I'm sorry.
I know. Okay, I get that, but like my boy Quams was saying, you got Newcastle. They won the Carabao Cup. You got
years.
But they won something, bro.
Also, we got to look at it.
Then you got Palace win the FA Cup.
We haven't won something since 2020. There are other clubs that have been starved. There's
yeah, but we call ourselves a big club, which we are, right? So we've spent a lot of money. The fan base is absolutely massive. We should be winning trophies. I mean, okay, Man United didn't win anything this season, but even they've won back-to-back trophies last 2 seasons before this one. You know what I mean? So it seems like Liverpool just won the league. It seems like everyone's winning things except us. So that's why the fans, a lot of the fans are voicing their displeasure. They're saying, look, man, we're a big club. Everything's in place. We're spending a lot of money. We've got a good manager. We've got really good players. Why are we not winning trophies more regular?
Yeah, no, just obviously the Crystal Palace game was good, but I think what I really enjoyed was just watching ballers like Eze play. Do you know what I mean? And even Mateta play. You know what I mean? Like they just, it's certain players that I'm like, you know what? Why didn't we just go and get this guy? I know Eze used to be with us in the academy and everything like that, but you can clearly see he's head and shoulders above so many of the other players in the Premier League. And it's like, why can't we be that club that just acts quickly and snuffs these players out before they obviously go on to do better things with different teams? But I think it's just that frustration. It's even like the playing styles. Obviously, Crystal Palace, Newcastle, they play more free-flowing football. It's more direct, more attacking, a bit more flamboyant. Us, to me, is very, very one-dimensional. You know exactly where the ball's going to go. If it goes out to Odegaard, he's going to pass it to Saka. Then Saka's got about 3 man. He's got to cut in. I want something different. I want something unique. We've come across certain players, and Stricto touched on it when it was PSG, Doué and them, man. Yeah, where they were doing certain things on the ball, and he's like, raw, like individual skill, technical ability. The only player that I can see that in our squad is obviously Ranieri, which is like question marks about why he wasn't featured in the last couple of games, because that's what we are missing. Hence the reason why I guess we're interested in Rodrigo, whatever. But all the other surrounding teams, I'm listening to the chat, and shout out to everyone in the chat as well, because they're talking about Liverpool signing, was it Wirtz or whatever? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? They're doing something about it. It just seems like we're just too...
You know what? Sorry to interrupt. I was going to... you kind of segued nicely into the next question I was going to ask to ask for both of you, which is, are you not worried? I mean, Stricto's saying he's not that bothered that we've not won these so-called smaller trophies yet. Are you not worried that two things? We've got players at our club like are really good players that are sought after by other clubs. I'll give you one straight away, William Saliba. These men, for all their talent, they're not winning anything. Are you not worried that sooner or later those players, because let's be honest, man, players are like fans.
Good point.
The world thinks about money, Champions League football, making money, blah, blah, blah. Players are a bit like fans. They want to win things at the end of their careers. They want to have a trophy cabinet full up of, especially if you're a top player, your trophy cabinet should reflect how good you were as a player. If we're not winning anything, the likes of Saliba and his agent, they're going to look at him and think, yeah, you know what? I love this club, you know, but not now.
If he wants to go, go. He's on the pitch. I'm not on the pitch. He's on the pitch. Yeah, he's on the pitch.
All right, okay, you say that, right?
No,
what about?
I'm not on the pitch.
Hold on.
I love Saliba. I love the players, but they're the ones who can change outcomes. I can't change it. So
no, but he can't change it by himself.
Say, well, we're not winning nothing. I need to go. Then fuck off, bro.
No, but Stricto, If you're a player like you would be the same, bro. Come on, let's be honest now. If you're a really top player and you're really sought after, everyone's talking about you as that big don, right? And you've got clubs sniffing around. If your club is not winning things, sooner or later, you and your agent are going to say, you know what, I'm a man of my talent. I need to be winning things.
Yeah.
Likewise, clubs, prospective players that might want to come to Arsenal, they look at that project and they say, you know what, nice club, shiny stadium, lots of fans, but traditionally this club don't win nothing. They never win the big things. I've got an option to go to a club that their record states that they win things. Who do you think is going to get those players? So there is a lot to take into account, Stricto.
No, man.
Yeah.
Listen. At the end of the day, that was the case a few years ago when we had. You could look like Quams, you'd agree when we had like Sanchez, we had Özil. We never really had a team full of like good footballers. Right now, we've got a team in every sort of department. You can look from front to back, up to down. We've got players who can actually play football as a team. So if one,
how many years do you think Saka's going to go, Stricto, without winning a major trophy? Let's be honest,
bro. I'm going to say the same thing. I hate to say it, but you can also fuck off.
No player is bigger than the club, isn't it? At the end of the day,
no, hold on. I'm not saying the bit. I hear what you're saying to a degree, but you have to understand the ambition of a player.
I get it, because then if you look at history, obviously, like someone made a good point here, Mateus, and he says, look at Robin van Persie, Henry, Fabregas, and then you hear the reasons why they left Arsenal before. It's because they looked at it from the inside and they were like, rah, the club is not making any big signings. I even heard Declan Rice saying it, I think a few days ago, where he was just like, I'm expecting the club to make big signings. And you're right. If they don't start doing that, these players will start moving, or they'll start looking elsewhere, because they don't want to be like let's say, I'll say like a Harry Kane. Obviously, Harry Kane's now, he left and now he's won his first major trophy. But you don't want to be doing a human song, waiting 10 years for one trophy. You want to be in a place where, yes, it's a pretty club, they play great football, but they're winners. So yeah, I get what you're saying, but then it's.
The main difference is, the Van Persies, when they left the club, like, you couldn't name any. Maybe you could name two other players who were up to his part and match his ambition for that team and that time. Henry played along with some Arsenal greats, and then over time it dwindled out. You know, he was
surrounded with Flamini and them, man. Yeah.
You understand? But now we've got a team. We've got players who are decent players who could actually walk into any team in the world. So if collectively 11 of you players can walk into any team in the world, what aren't you producing at Arsenal then? What aren't you producing at Arsenal? And that's what I'm saying. Like, I
want to come in here because you do make a good point.
Pause. Chill. Laurie, come to you.
Okay. Well, what happened? What did I miss?
Oh, you missed it. You missed it.
You missed it. It's all right. Don't worry.
Okay. Right, yeah. So my point is, Stricto, I hear what you're saying, right? But these are top players. There's Saliba, Saka, you know what I mean? Declan Rice and all them. These guys are not going to hang around forever. Trust me. If we're not winning stuff, it's almost incumbent upon them to win things and to be playing football at the highest level, winning trophies. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, even me right now, I'm sitting here, Stricto, and I'm looking at some of my boxing trophies, and I'm like, it makes me feel proud. When people come here, they say, oh, I used to box. Oh, what's this for? What's that for? So if a man come around my yard and I say, oh, I've boxed, and I say, oh, yeah? And I've got nothing to show for it. This man might think, yeah, he said he used to box, but he didn't. You know what I mean? So as a top player, when these guys have kids, one day Saka's going to have kids. He wants to be showing his kids, look at what Daddy achieved.
I get it. I get what you're saying, Laurie. I get what you're saying, Laurie. At the end of the day,
he's going to say, look at what Daddy done. Look at this. And the kid's going to go, oh, I want to be a footballer like you, Dad. If you ain't got nothing to show him, he's going to say, yeah, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Laurie, I get everything you're saying. I'm not once going to dispute that. And I want people to understand, I have a standard. I want my club to win things. I want my club to dominate. I want my club to be the best it can be in any division, in any competition it competes in. That's what I want. But at the end of the day, yeah, whether you want to label it down to the coach that's not being able to get over the line, or want to talk about players who can't, in vital moments, can't either defend or score important goals. Those players, as far as I'm concerned, or the coach, no one can come and say, well, I need to go somewhere to win stuff, because these people are the ones who can decide whether or not we win stuff. They actually can decide the outcomes. We can only cheer and celebrate when they do so. Do you understand? So if a man's saying, I got to bounce at this stage where the club is at the moment, I'm not. You can go. You can go. You know, I've seen great players come and leave Arsenal. I've seen Arsenal win. Bro, Tottenham have just won a trophy without having great players. So it can be done without you lot. But when you lot have had your chance to do it, you haven't done it. And whether that's on the manager or on the player, I don't care at this moment. But all I know is...
so you're talking about retention of players, right? Let's move it on now to recruitment of players. Imagine if you're Andrea Berta, right, and you're trying to sign Gyökeres, right? Mm-hmm. And you've got a project, or Gyökeres or any other top player in Europe, right? You're trying to sell it to them. You're trying to say, look, come to Arsenal. We are a progressive club. You know what I mean? We're London's biggest club. We sell out the stadium every week, blah, blah, blah. You're going to get big money there. The man's thinking, yeah, man. Then when the man says, well, what's your plans like? What have you won? You know what I mean? And you can't show him nothing. And another man up the road can offer him just as much money, right? You not be a barrier to success.
No. But
you're saying Gyökeres should go to Palace, and you can also go to Tottenham. And is that what you're saying?
No, but what I am saying is, imagine if Liverpool came in for Gyökeres. Okay, let's keep it 100. Let's say, and I have heard that Liverpool are interested in, because they are going to need a striker, because by all accounts, bin off Darwin Núñez, right? Mm-hmm. So imagine if we go for Gyökeres and Liverpool decide to hijack that and say, right, listen, man, come to us. We've won the league. You know what I mean? We're signing Florian Wirtz. We're doing this. We've proven over the last 5 years. In 5 years, we won the Premier League twice. Come to us. Don't you think that might influence Gyökeres to go to them rather than to Arsenal?
Yeah, of course it would. Of course it would. But then this is where we start looking at the board then, because Arteta, like I said, Arteta's done all he can do with what he's been given so far. Yeah. And now it's to the point where the board now need to tap into their financials and actually provide him with certain players. Because if you want to attract these big names, if you want them to come to us over a Liverpool or even a Chelsea, it's not just about the money. It is about it is about the potential. The only thing that we can sign certain players on is obviously, yes, our football history and our heritage, but it's more importantly, it's the potential in terms of the project. But that's not going to last forever. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. The pressure is on now, because players will start looking at it and be like, rah, like, so what? I could have been at Newcastle. I could have... Look at Eddie Nketiah. Do you know what I mean? He left us and he's now won a trophy, a major trophy. Do you know what I mean? So he's feeling good about himself. So, yeah, I get it. There's always a timeline in a player's mind. And that's why I think, I don't know if it was Carragher or Rio Ferdinand, they mentioned about Declan Rice will start thinking, if we don't get anything this next season, God forbid, but if we don't get anything next season, then that's when people will start itching. Some of the big players will start itching. I'll be real with you, because they will look at it and say, are we going to be one of those clubs again? And then you've got all the other clubs, surrounding clubs around us, that are doing the work and they're catching up, or they've even surpassed us.
Ultimately, Qualms, yeah?
Yeah.
But what Laurie said, if Liverpool coming for a player and Arsenal going for a player, like, let's be real, we're all men. How much are you paying me? That's what players look at.
Yeah.
That aspect, and that's where the board.
No, of course.
That's where the board has to say, you know what? All right, if you want to go and join a team that's, I mean, let's look at when we got Alexis Sanchez, right? He was on his way to Liverpool. He was on his way to Liverpool, and we hijacked that with the money we were offering him. Willian, when he left Russia, I was in the Ukrainian league and was going to Tottenham, and that was hijacked by Chelsea, because all about It's all about this.
Yeah,
Players in the past have always lied about, or they'll say, for example, I can't join a club that doesn't have Champions League football. But you can look at teams that have pulled top quality players without Champions League football, because it's always really been about this. Of course, I'm not going to disregard players want to join teams, clubs that are likely to win stuff. But in all honesty, if the board is serious, and any board, not just the Arsenal board, but if any board, what did Newcastle win to get Isak? What did we win to bring in Aubameyang? Is this? Let's not even kid ourselves. Is this? Do you know what I'm saying? Let's put all of that Champions League.
No, Stricto, you're partially right there. You're partially right. But I'm talking about consistently landing the better players. You need to have a body of work there that can attract them. It's a bit like you go to work for a company, Stricto.
Laurie, my brother, Laurie, I hate to say it, Laurie. You know what that is? That is
the Niger in you coming out.
That's the Niger in you. Cash rules everything around me. That
is the Niger in Stricto coming out full force.
Who don't like money? Who don't like? Show me who don't like money.
I love money. I mean, I'm Jamaican, so we're very materialistic also. But on a serious note, I hear what you're saying, Stricto. I really do, and I love your passion with the way you say it. But I just can't agree that it's all about money. Players want to win things, bro. Trust me. I mean, I know a couple of pros as well, and even pros in other sports. They will tell you it's all about winning things, man. Winning trophies, winning titles, being in the limelight. Fans will tell you it's about having those great days out. I've heard some of the Spurs fans talking the other day after the game, and big man was crying, Stricto and Kwame. They're saying this is the great, other than my kids, this is the greatest day of my life. I've been following this club all these years, and now we've won a trophy. You know, man were emotional. I can remember, Stricto, right? I was chatting to Robbie about this the other day. One of the great days I had out with Arsenal was when we won I think it was 2005. We won the FA Cup. It was in Cardiff. I think it was Vieira's last game. And we were terrible. We stunk the joint out. United were way better.
And we managed to get it.
And bro, that weekend was proper, bro. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Those are what fans remember. They don't, no disrespect, but no one ain't going to be celebrating Arsenal finishing second or qualifying for the Champions League. It's about winning the trophy, Kwame. What are you saying?
No. I agree. I think it's, and I'm looking through all the chats. Everyone's kind of saying the same thing. It's come to the point where we've got to be real with ourselves. And partly I agree with what Stricto's saying. There are some ballers that do look for the money, but then there's other ballers you can see they're doing it for the passion. If I had a chance to win a trophy or to win titles with a team, 100%, bro. That would be the best thing in the world. And you can see even with how some of the players that have retired now, your Rio Ferdinand, your Paul Scholes, Roy Keane, like from United, how they talk, how they carry themselves. And they're like, when we won back-to-back titles, you know what I mean? Not many men can say that. We won, we dominated. That's how I want the Arsenal team to be. Like, I don't want it to just be it's a great form team who play some really good football, possession-like football. And that's where I'm saying that we just need to be ruthless. There's certain fans, even Spurs fans, flipping, they're walking past the yard now, coming back from the parade, bro. No, but it's just they're coming back from the parade. But it's like the reason, I guess, why it's even more sweet for them is because their manager said something. And he was the one who said he was willing to die on the hill. And he delivered it as well. He delivered the trophy. Now, Arteta's, sometimes he says things and then he takes it back, or he kind of curves the questions or whatever. But I think that's one thing I got to respect Ange for, because he was willing to die on the hill for that team. And he was like, look, I'm going to win a title. I'm going to win something with this team. And I just wish Arteta would do that with this team. And Stricto's right. The players are also responsible as well. They can make the difference. They can change it all. Do you know what I mean? We're just here just supporting them. I wish I was on the field, bro. Some of the times, some of the things I see as well. Bro, real talk.
I just want to address this super chat quickly because it is a good point. Gabrielle said, this is the third time today, Laurie, you presented AFTV discussion shows that you're not comfortable about it. Meaning that Spurs won a trophy. They won, give them credit, whether they beat a mediocre team or not. You know what? He does make a good point. I have been trashing Spurs' win. And I'm going to admit, I'm a little bit jealous, bro. I'm not going to lie, because, like I said, I saw Palace win trophy last week. I seen Tottenham win a trophy, even though the game was pants and they beat a mediocre team, but they still won a trophy. So you know what, Gabriel, I'm gonna agree with you up to a point. So yes, I guess some of my criticism is born out of frustration, and I'm man enough to admit that. And you know why that is, Gabriel? Because I'm passionate. I'm a winner. I like to win in life. I don't always win in life, but I strive to win in life. Just like I am when I was playing sports, and I played a lot of sports in my lifetime, always wanted to win, always got a thrill out of winning things. So I want to see my club win, man. And at the moment, I'm frustrated because you know why as well, Stricto? We've got some really good players at this club. And I'm like startled as to how the season has ended with us not winning a trophy, with the title challenge. Listen, that title was done back in February when we lost at home to West Ham. I said on AFTV, I said, you know what? Title done. So I was hoping against hope that we could pull it out the fire with the Champions League. We had a really good Champions League run. I'm not dissing the club for that. But at the end of the day, Stricto, it's still another season without a trophy.
And
Talk to me.
I am more pissed that we haven't got a trophy this season. Not because anyone else has got a trophy. I am more pissed that we haven't, because like you said, you've touched on, this is a team of good players. A team of good players, a team of promising players, a team of a promising manager. You know, Arteta hasn't got to the stage where you can describe him as a great manager. Do you know what I'm saying? So the whole thing is it's still on the rise. But I just look at the big picture. I do think this team are on their way to get somewhere. I do think this team eventually will cross the line, and not only cross the line but dominate.
When you say eventually, what time frame are we talking about, man? Because
I can't put
eventually
I can't put a time frame. But if you ask me when I would like, next season is the nearest time frame I can give you, because you know I want it as soon as possible.
So okay, I know you're an Arteta man. You've been on the record, and I respect you for that. You backed him. You know what I mean? You've been very vocal about it. But let's have it right. If we don't win a trophy next season, what are you saying about Arteta then?
I've said it again. We've got to start having that conversation. We got to really
have another conversation for another year.
No.
That's called procrastination, bro.
No, a conversation. Listen.
What conversation?
No, I was Arteta out. That's why I'm comfortable in the seat that I'm sitting in, because I have no agenda. I see, in my opinion, I see how it is. And you know, and I go by my opinion. But one thing I know about life: what's the point of having a mind if you can't change it? I was anti Arteta so much. The eighth, we finished 8th twice. The playing Willian when we've got Pepe on the bench, who's more agile, who offers more. All of those things he did. Get this guy out of my club. But then he turned it around. And not only did it turn it around, not only was it luck. Yes, we haven't won a trophy. I'm not sitting there saying, yeah, we were second. We get a trophy. No, we don't get a trophy for finishing second. But it's a trajectory you must look at and say, do you know what? We are that close. We're not far off it. We are not far off. Now we're getting bantered about finishing second. When the banter was, fourth place trophy. Now it's gone up. Then when we win something, the barometer's going to change. It's only one league you've won. Like, I'm not falling for what everyone else is saying. I know what I'm seeing on my eyes, bro. Not one rival fan can sit and tell me anything. I know what I'm seeing on my eyes. I know the trajectory we're going. Yes, there's going to come a time when I'm going to be like, on a real though, he's not
crossing that line.
He's not crossing the line. So of course I'm going to have that conversation with myself or wherever I need to have and be like, you know what? Maybe he's pushed us to where he's brought us he's put the club at a better place than where he found it, and maybe it's time for someone else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know what? I hear that. But what a lot of people's response to that, Stricto, and I hear them as well, they will say, yes, he is a good manager, but he's a transitional manager. He's taken you from, let's be honest, we were pretty poor before he took over. And yes, in terms of his league placings, it was at 8th, 5th, and now 3 seconds. But then there'll be a lot of people Stricto saying, yeah, you've shown that you can improve the club, but you're not showing that you can win the major trophies. Kwame, what are you saying about that?
Yeah. I had a chat with a good friend of mine, Liverpool fan, and he said that I always remember a few years ago about Arteta, and he said, "Look, he might just be that man that just brings you up to that level where you can start challenging for things, but he doesn't think he can cross the line." And yeah, I feel like I said, this season is really important for him, and there can't be any stone not unturned. And that's why I'm saying I'm looking at the board and I'm looking at how quickly these lot do business. Because the longer they leave it, the more pressure Arteta's going to be on. Because if we don't start the season off right and it's, oh, someone's got injured, oh, we're still waiting for Timber's coming back from injury, you can't come into the press room. You can't talk to us and say, oh, yeah, look, if we didn't have this injury, if we didn't get sent off in this game, X, Y, and Z. And I was looking at the All or Nothing documentary. Bro, we've been getting players sent off, or players have been getting sent off from time under Arteta. And it's like, have they learned their lesson? No. So it's like, it's that mentality throughout the squad that I question. Don't get me wrong, I'm with Stricter. I believe that what Arteta's done is fantastic. From where we are, or where we was to where we are now, yes, 100%. But I cannot afford, as a fan, I think, to wait another season to finish second, to nearly get there. It's not, we can't do this anymore. Like, without the amount of money that we spend, for the amount of pressure that we were putting on ourselves and on this club, they have to deliver. So yeah, this is now or never now. I expect Arteta to come out and say, you know what, this is the season where we're going to win the Premier League.
I mean, look at our guy Eddie Nketiah, yeah? I mean, the man left Arsenal, right? He's gone to Palace. He scored more goals for Palace than he did for Arsenal. He's also picked up a trophy this season. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's probably looking at Saka and them, man.
Talk, man. Please, don't start. He can't even get into the Palace team. Let's be real.
He scored 2 goals the other night.
He can't displace Mateta. He can't displace Mateta.
I know, but the man scored 2 goals the other night.
I'm sorry, Laurie. Eddie is not the caliber of Arsenal strikers.
No, I didn't say he was. I didn't say that was not my
point.
Look at the calibers of strikers that we've had here, even the worst ones. Eddie's not my one. He's not even my one.
No, but with respect, Stricto, that wasn't the point I was making. I was saying even Eddie, who we let go, the man's gone to another club just down the road from you, and he's scored more goals than he did at Arsenal, and he's got a trophy. He's got a winner's medal. The man was kissing the medal the other day, living his best life.
Arsenal too. He won a medal at Arsenal.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, no, I'm just discussing the irony of it, that we let him go, and in the first season we let him go, the man's won a trophy with another club.
Yeah.
Good for Eddie, good for Crystal
Palace.
Good for the fans. Do you know what I'm saying? But on the subject of, like, you know, a player leaving one club to go win something somewhere else, that's what he left Arsenal because, let's be honest, he couldn't get into Arsenal. He didn't leave Arsenal. He didn't leave Arsenal to go and win trophies. You know, like, with all.
Well, he will tell you that he did. You know what I mean?
With all due respect, if we look at the team he's joined and look at their history of winning trophies, that's not something someone says, well, I'm going to Palace to win trophies. Yes, he's won a trophy, and yes, I'm more than happy for Palace to win it. Like I said, that's my local club. But if we're going to talk about caliber of strikers, he's not it. He's not it. He's on a number.
No, okay. So, okay, you made your point and you made it well. Let's talk, since you want to talk about strikers, let's talk about a striker. Now, the one thing I would say that Tottenham winning does help Arsenal, and it's a weird kind of occurrence, is I would argue the fact that they beat Man United means that obviously United will not be playing in the European football next season. Now, you guys will no doubt be aware that Gyökeres was being linked with Man United. I mean, obviously, Ruben Amorim used to manage him.
Former manager.
Apparently, they have a really good relationship, and there was a lot of talk that United were going to move for Gyökeres. Gyökeres, as most players do, they keep their counsel in it. He's been linked with strongly to Arsenal, but he's not said he's coming to Arsenal. He said he'll make his decision at the end of the season, which is fine. Now, Arsenal and Man United were said to be in the running for him. I've heard Liverpool as well. But with United now not in Europe, one of the things I heard Gyökeres said, him leaving Sporting was contingent upon him going to a club that's playing in Europe. So that rules United out. Yeah. So that was a good thing, Spurs winning, because I had Man United have won, they could have offered Gyökeres Champions League football. So what I'm asking you guys now, start with Stricto, because you're just chatting about strikers. Do you think that increases our chances of getting Gyökeres? And if so, is he the man you want to come to the club?
I would love Gyökeres at Arsenal. Unlike most players coming from that league, he's actually had experience in this country. You know, if you see this guy, if you see he's built, you know what I'm saying, he's ready. And if I take a sample size of Gyökeres, when we played them this season, he caused Saliba problems. You know, he didn't get any change out of Gabby, but he got change out of Saliba. He got change out of the Man City defenders when they played Man City. He was fantastic. I think he has to be the one we have to get. Whether or not, and again, I'll talk back this being a major factor, you know, because if United sell him a better dream, irrespective whether they're in Europe or not, he will go there. You know, we saw it with Paul Pogba.
But the reason why I said that, Stricto, is because he's on the record as saying that he wants to play Champions League football.
Which he wants to, which we can offer him. But now what I want to see,
can't.
What I want to see now is the ambition of the club. Do you say to him, all right, cool, United can't offer you Champions League football. They might be able to try to offer you something else, but we can match that with Champions League football, with the fact you're playing let's be real. London is the capital of Europe. You get to play in the capital of Europe. That's one thing us southern clubs have over the northern clubs. We can brag about Oxford Street. We can brag about all the nightlife in London, all the glitz and glamour of London. Do you know what I'm saying? So we've got to match any club that wants to bring him there and say, look, we'll offer you the wages. We can afford it. We've got Champions League money that we got from semi-finals this season. You know, we can afford it. You know what I'm saying? Who's this? Hey, this guy here, this brother here, he follows me on he's a school. I need to get a restraining order on this brother.
So, Kwame, what's your thoughts on that? Do you think that now that Spurs have beaten United are effectively out the race because they can't offer Gyökeres what he's on the record is saying he wants, which is Champions League football? So, do you think that increases our chances of getting Gyökeres? And if so, is he the man you want to come to us? Or do you want Sesko or Osimhen or one of them?
I wanted Gyökeres. I wanted Gyökeres first, Sesko second. I would have preferred Alexander Isak, but I know he's tied in with Newcastle, so that would be, and then he would probably go Liverpool. Liverpool might just go for him instead. But I think Gyökeres is probably overall, when you look at, as Stricto said, his physical frame, but also his movement in and around the box, his type, the type of goals he scores is, he can strike the ball with so much force, but yeah, he can finesse. He's quite agile as well. He's a mixture of a modern day, or not even a modern day, the old school strikers. You know what I mean? Like he's got the touch of Ibrahimovic, but then he can finesse it. He can shoot like Suarez. So, and he's good in the air as well. So for me, I think he would complement us and our playing style. I think Sesko's more not one-dimensional, but Sesko, yeah, he can shoot from outside the box, but then you're looking at getting more crosses in the box. But I just think it suit the Premier League. They would just eat that up, to be honest, the defenders. So for me, I think Gyökeres kind of gives us a different dimension.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, listen, we've spoken about this before on these shows.
Yeah.
With Gyökeres, what you're buying is, so far anyway, he appears to be the finished article. The man's got.
He's a finished article, yeah. Look at his goal record.
Yeah, what is it? Something like 97 goals in 100 games. I mean,
yeah.
I don't care what league you're playing in, bro. You've got to.
That's what I mean. You've got to listen to that.
Yeah,
and
we've got to listen to that.
Sesko is what I would call more potential. You know what I mean? I'm sure he's a very good player, but his record, I think he's got 13 league goals this season in Germany for Leipzig. It's nowhere near what Gyökeres is. And we need to be winning stuff like now.
This is what I mean. This is what I mean.
We can't wait for no more projects. Or
nah.
I
just want to go on.
Take that Raj guy off. He's a Liverpool fan. He's not. You're right. We need a Mr. Right now. We need a Mr. Right now. We need, this season was pivotal. I think all Arsenal fans can agree. We need to start winning stuff, so I'm tired of a project player. I'm tired of that. I think we've had Saka now, who is, he's beyond that project player. We've had Gabby. We've got a lot of players who've gone beyond Saliba and Timber. These players have gone beyond project players now. We know what they're capable of.
That's right.
Someone who's proven. Add that to that, Like I said, the difference between him and Sesko, there's loads of differences. First of all, the most important thing is goals. Secondly, he's experienced. He's played in this country before, so he knows the physicality of it. He won't be swept over by it, So listen, it's a non-brainer. Like, get this guy here, like, and get it done early. I don't want it to be.
That's what I'm saying.
Get it done early, quick.
So you can have a pre-season with us,
bro. But it just sets the tone.
Exactly.
It sets the tone.
Show your intentions. You know what I'm saying? Show your intent. Show the other clubs when you start making your signings quick and early. It shows other clubs that we need to sit up. And then on top of that, you leave them with scraps because there aren't many number 9s out there in the world. So now you've taken a lot. Now you've left them with scraps. They've got to start looking for what alternatives and all of that. You just hear it like, listen, for the players, they need to do shit on the pitch, and the board need to do stuff out the pitch. Those two need to work hand in hand. We saw it last season. The board didn't do what they were supposed to do off the pitch, and we saw what's happened on the pitch. Now, I'm not making excuses to say that we didn't win purely because of the board. Like I said, you can put on Arteta's head. You can put on some of the players' head because performances when it really mattered didn't happen on Arteta. Not resting players when he should be resting, rotating players. Like, there's so many factors, but we can't discount what the board hasn't done. And they need to start doing stuff early and true. I'm not going to be listening to Robbie's transfer dailies every day. I'm not doing that this season. You know what I'm saying? Like, Robbie will be telling us, Arsenal linked with
a 17-year-old from South America,
a Jamaican called Laurie Lau. You know Jamaican called Laurie Lau.
Only that was true, man. But you are right. I mean, listen, like I said, that whole thing with Tottenham as well, that was one of the things I was saying at the top of the show. And when I was watching that on Wednesday, even though it was a terrible game, right? But them man winning a trophy, I'm not going to lie, it kind of brought it home even more to me how badly we need to get players in and how we need to start winning trophies. Because listen, no one remembers second place. You tell me, right, when Usain Bolt was ripping a tear through athletics, tell me who was the silver and bronze medalist when he was winning them gold medals and breaking those records. No one remembers that. You know what I mean? They remember winners. Tottenham, for all the stuff, all the smack talk and rare, they have won a trophy. Ange was very forthright. He said to them, man, I'll always win a trophy in my second year. Everyone laughed at him, myself included. I'm not going to lie. I was one of them. I was like, what are you going to win with that team? And in a way, it kind of reflects badly on us a certain way. The fact that the man's at a poor team, let's be honest, they're a poor team, but yet they've won a trophy that we tried many years to win. And we didn't. I mean, okay, Robbie made a very good point. It's not a like for like because the Europa League, when we were in it, teams were dropping out of the Champions League and winning the Europa League. But even so, we got to the final one year and we got smoked by Chelsea. I don't need to remind you. You know what I'm saying? So they've won a competition that we have not won, bro. And you know what I mean? Like I said, football's all about winning trophies. So yeah, man, we're coming to a close. But Kwame, let's start with you. Have I changed your mind on anything? Have you had your thoughts revised, or how do you want to end the show? What do you want to say?
Arsenal, message to Arsenal and the board and the fans. If you want to take note of what is obviously happening down the road, in the sense of Spurs have just celebrated a trophy after 17 years, and as much as it can be painful to some of the Arsenal fans, I want you to kind of take that energy, take that hurt and that pain, and use that for the forthcoming season. The board, I just wish that you make the actions that are needed in order to support the squad, or else we could be coming back to this moment and saying again, is this another pivotal moment for the likes of our Sakas and Saliba where they start looking elsewhere? I don't want them to. I want us to go out and dominate and win trophies. I want to throw a parade. You get me? I want to stop a certain man from getting, or certain people from getting trims like they done for me today, bro. You know what I mean? So it's just messed me up. So it's just one of those things where I just hope that we take heed of it. Obviously, it hurts, not to the point where I'm like crying or anything, but it's a lesson in the sense that sometimes it's good. And then also about Ange Postecoglou as well, is that even though he had his philosophy about his all-out attack, how he won that trophy, he went against his own philosophy. And I feel like Arteta maybe might need to do something like that for this forthcoming season, where as much as he wants to dominate and be possession, throw a couple jokers out there from the pack. Do you get me? Like, change it up a little bit. That's what I would say.
Okay. We're going to give Stricto the last word. He's been called an Arteta-sexual. So we're going to give him the right of reply on that one. And we're also going to give him the final word because he is big Stricto in the building. Stricto, have I managed to change your mind, or have you thinking about things a little, having discussed this for an hour now? You see what I'm saying, me and Qualms, that we need to win things, or are you holding out to what you said previously?
No, I've said we need to win stuff.
No, but you said Carabao and FA Cup don't mean nothing to you.
No, what in context of having to wait a long time, I would like more than just a Carabao Cup.
Right. Okay.
If we're gonna say we want to hold the club to a standard, right? If we wanna say that Arsenal's a big club, a Carabao Cup ain't enough, in my opinion. I think it needs to be more, and I do think, I do believe we will next year we'll definitely have a trophy next year. What the trophy is, I don't know at this point. But in terms of the whole, question about if you've changed my mind, listen, with me, I'm always happy to listen to you, to people talk. You know me, I'm open-minded. I'm open-minded. If something is reasonable, I jump on board with it. You and Qualms are reasonable guys. You lot talk a lot of sense. So I listen, but I also come with my own, and I say my own, and that's what conversation's about. Do you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But I'm speaking, you're listening, you're speaking, I'm listening, and everything's respectable about that. Arteta sexual. No one can really call me that because, like I said, I started off, getting one in the man out. So I don't know someone who could be an Arteta sexual and at one point never wanted.
I reckon Yardman is, man. I reckon he's got a secret.
He's obsessed with Arteta. Yardman.
Yeah, I reckon
he's obsessed. Put it this way, I don't have a hat that has the word Arteta on it. I don't have.
Man's got merch, everything, man.
I don't have
Man's doing daily shows.
Yeah, man. But listen, big up everyone in the chat. Listen, I don't take anything.
Yeah, man. Listen, I just want to say, man, it's been a brilliant discussion. I've really enjoyed it. Thanks to you guys.
Good.
Big up Qualms, big up Stricto.
Yes. Come on.
It's really good talking to you guys, man, because we've all got slightly different thoughts. But the one thing we all do agree on is, regardless of what Tottenham did, is that next season we need to be winning trophies of our own. I think we can all agree on that. And I think that's been reflected in the comments as well. But yeah, big up to you guys, man.
Yes.
And let's hope that next season, we can talk about trophies. Let's hope that actually, talking of trophies, Arsenal ladies might be able to set that example.
Yes.
We've got the Champions League final this weekend, which I'll be watching. I know AFTV are doing a watch along for that as well. So tune into that. Let's hope that they can show the men how it should be done.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Great discussion. Thanks to Kwame and my guy Stricto. Big up yourselves. Thanks to everybody in the comments who submitted comments. Really enjoyed having you guys interacting with you and everything like that. Thanks to my man Joe in the background overseeing the stream. Big up yourselves.
Always.
Have a great weekend, and we'll catch you again soon. We are out.
Yes, out.
We've teamed up with UK Auto Claims to see if you could be eligible to claim thousands in compensation. If you've had any cars, vans or motorbikes on finance between 2007 and 2021, well, just click the link below and start your simple free check.